From Abuja, the nation's capital, this is Matters Arising, coming to you live from the studio of KAFTAN Television. Matters Arising is the flagship talk show of KAFTAN TV that features in-depth discussions and analysis of topical and trending national as well as international issues by our team of seasoned broadcast journalists. My name is Macaulay Honohashi, saying thanks for joining us.
I am John Okoro. Welcome to the program.
I am Oriri Richard. Don't go away.
We welcome you to today's show, which promises to be engaging, incisive and interactive. You can also be a part of the conversation by calling our phone number 002-993-8365, which will be displayed on your screen later in the course of the show. Guys, already you said viewers should not go away. Yes. How has been your day?
It was awesome. Awesome. Just that almost everywhere in Abuja, all the roads very dry. No much vehicles on the road. Is
it attributed to the increase in fuel and the cost of transportation?
So many Nigerians now have decided to park their vehicles at home. They have decided to park their vehicles. Before I drove to one filling station, no queue.
Exactly. But
the price,
they have been betting on vehicle owners.
On Friday, I bought for 980. Today, I bought for 965 in one of the filling stations. I think the monopoly is actually helping some. There's not much monopoly in the system.
Now.
So different filling stations sell at different prices.
Okay.
By the grace of God, it will crash.
Amen. I say amen to that. John, what do you think? Did you say amen to that, John?
Well, my day was, it has been good, great. Just no matter how you want to stay away from the situation, the situation of the fear palaver, it must hit you.
It will not stay away from you.
Exactly, it will not stay away from you. No matter how you want to stay away, no matter how you want to just want to move on with your life, trying to but somehow, some way, it keeps on coming back to you in different aspects. But however, it's been a nice one. The rains are still here. It's been cool here in the city of Abuja.
We give God the glory. That was on a lighter mood. And now to our topic of discussion tonight, which is on the growing calls by Nigerians to the federal government to reverse the hike in the pump price of fuel. On Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024, the NNPCL, without any prior notice, adjusted the pump price of petrol to 855 naira in Lagos, 897 in Abuja, and more than 900 naira in most northern states. This action has further exacerbated the pains of the long-suffering Nigerian masses, who in the past 1 year have been enduring the pang of hunger caused by the ever-rising cost of living. In the light of this development, Nigerians, including civil society organizations, opposition political parties, religious leaders, socio-cultural groups such as the Afenifere and Ohaneze Ndigbo, the Nigerian Bar Association, Organized Labor, among others, have called on the federal government to quickly reverse the new pump price of petrol to avert further hardship for the citizenry. Furthermore, the National Association of Nigerian Students stated on Monday, which is today, that it would first seek dialogue with the federal government on the recent hike in petrol price, noting that strike action or demonstration will remain the last option. Also, in a letter dated September 7th, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, urged President Bola Tinubu to use his leadership position and good office to direct the NNPCL to immediately reverse increase in the pump price or face legal action. The National Assembly has not been left out in the debacle. The Senate spokesperson Yemi Adaramodu, speaking to newsmen last Thursday, said the Senate will investigate complaints from citizens once the National Assembly resumes. Also, on the same Thursday, Honorable Dogwa, Chairman House Committee on Petroleum Resources Upstream, in a statement urged the Nigerian government and the NNPCL to consider the plight of Nigerians and suspend this recent increase in pump price. That has been where we are today. so much talk. Organized labor is talking. General Bar Association is talking. Civil society organizations are talking. But the point I want that that caught my attention is that of the position of students. The students' body that said they are calling for dialogue. They came out with a statement today that they are waiting for dialogue between critical stakeholders and government. That demonstration or strike will be the last option, because we have seen strikes in this country that have not resulted in anything positive. And then SERAP, that has called for the probing of NNPCL, said they are giving the federal government 48 hours or so, follow which they will institute legal action. SERAP has always been in court, but I can't remember a case that they have won in the past. But taking a look at this issue of hike in pump price, one fact remains, and it is a common denominator. Everybody is suffering because it affects every strata of the entire spectrum of the Nigerian economy, with attendant hardship and which is exacerbating widespread poverty and hunger.
Anytime we talk about the pump price regime, at least in the past years, it has always been we are subsidizing, and because we are subsidizing, we are not selling at the price, the real price, when you compare to the international market. That has been the government mantra. Then subsidy now was said to have been removed last year, and then we are here again. Now government has said, okay, there was this perception by Nigerians that if the landing cost of fuel is above 1,200 or something of that nature, and we were still buying fuel at the rate of 617 naira, 700 naira, that something was still happening before the NMPC came out to own up. But they didn't use the word subsidy, they called it shortfall. The government has been, they have been paying some kind of money to cover the shortfall so that people can buy fuel at the kind of a subsidized rate. Then suddenly, everybody was now hoping on the Dangote refinery that when Dangote comes on stream, that because he is buying crude in naira and is also refining here locally, that naturally all this issue of landing costs, forex, differentials and everything will not be there again, and that the pump price of fuel in Nigeria will come down. Then Dangote came on stream, and on last Tuesday, just a little bit, not up to a week ago, he announced that he was rolling out a PMS. That same day, NNPC moved their price to about 800 naira according to the location. Confusion. Now, the issue there is this: why can't the discussion be on local refining of fuel? Because I have followed the discussions all over. Anywhere you've heard this matter being discussed by experts, it's always about the international price for crude, it's about landing costs, it's about exchange rate, it's about this, and these factors have all contributed to the issue of the hike in the price of fuel in the country. So why can't the discussion be on how we can revive our refineries, give licenses to more people to build more refineries, so that the fear that we have in this country, if Nigeria isn't an oil producing country, then we can understand when we talk about the issue of because currently now, if you see, okay, what's the current debacle now? The current debacle now is that even the Dangote refinery cannot even sell its fuel in the country now. Now they are talking about exporting. Why is this so? Because they have been railroaded into also fixing their price to tally with the international crude market, price at the international level, despite the fact that they are supposed to be buying crude here naira by naira. You understand? Yes. So there is a problem. And for me, I feel that the only way that we can stop all these rhetorics is for us to start looking inward and start discussing how can we get our refineries working, get more refineries, so that this country will be saturated with refineries. And then once that happens, naturally, the pump price of fuel will come down.
Okay. Ori, your thoughts?
What is this that from your own angle, you talked about Nigerian students coming up to say they will not go by protest, that they have to use the dialogue means in resolving the crisis before all of us as a nation. I think I totally agree with them. Just like you said, over the years, we have seen a series of protests in the country, and none have yielded anything, any result. From the time of Chief Ganifawemi, Fela Anikulapo Kuti, all of them came with a different style of protest. And the one that just happened last month by Nigerians, had bad governance protests. No result as well. There wasn't anything that was achieved. The only thing that was achieved was we picked some things from the protests. We got to understand that there are foreign influence in Nigeria. So protest is out of it. The dialogue means is the main thing that we should go by. And for the probe of NNPC, that is where my concern lies. We have heard so much about a probe in this country, especially concerning NNPC. When Buhari took over government in 2015, he came up, that was when they said there was a missing $20 billion or 20 billion something that former CBN governor accuses the other government of Jonathan. Buhari said NNPC, they will probe NNPC for that $20 billion something. And in 2021, there was another probe panel set up, or alleged probe of NNPC again by the Senate Committee on the Public Account or something like that, of about 4 trillion naira. And last year, there was another probe by the Senate Committee on Public Account again, that they say about 11.35 trillion was squandered on in 13 years on moribund refineries. And here we are again about another probe. And early this year, a House of Representative Committee on Downstream or something like that, chaired by Honorable Gochinere from Imo State, they talked about probing NNPC as well. But the issue with probe in Nigeria is generally, apart from NNPC, not up to 6 months, the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation was equally, the federal government set up a panel for the probe. No result of any probe had been given to Nigeria before.
Talking about Better
Edu of humanitarian and poverty alleviation. We have been seeing a panel set up, committee set up for probe, different probes, but Nigerians have not seen result from any of the probe. And that is to say, they are coming up with probe to push our minds, our eyes away from the main thing. And I can call it propaganda. So the stand of Nigerian students, I think I will stand with them that dialogue is everything. And what is happening in Nigeria presently now need diplomatic solution. And the diplomatic solution is about dialogue and negotiation. The leaders who are leading us, they know quite well that we are in trouble in the country. And for the fact that NNPC itself is no longer a public entity, it's now owned by, it's a business entity now. We are operating a complete capitalist state. And for that reason, we should not be seeing anything possible concerning the crash of the fare. Because last 3 or 4 days, I listened to interview by KAFTAN President Prince Adewale Adebayo, where he was saying that we should still be expecting more increase in the pump price of fuel in Nigeria. For the past 2 weeks, the billionaire of the world, Bill Gates, he has been in Nigeria. And he has said to Nigerians that we are the only country that is paying the least tax in the world.
He said so.
Just to bring our mind down, to set our mind on this. Because before he made that statement, there was no increment in fuel price. So as a result of that, now we are seeing that is foreign hands, and most of these foreign hands, they are using internal in-house capitalists. And the in-house capitalist in this line now is Dangote. Yeah. Dangote have succeeded in taking over Nigerian oil sector, and as a capitalist, is not running a charity organization. No, so we should not be expecting that Dangote will just wake up and say it's crashing the fuel price. So we should still be expecting more price of fuel to go up, but government can help us, like he said, by reviving these local refineries. But I'm looking at it from this point that since we are talking about reviving the local refineries, some of these our citizens, Nigerian citizens, that have gathered this initiative of building local refineries even within the Niger Delta area. They tag it as bunkers. They tag them as bunkers. Illegal refineries. But what they should have done is to bring those people together.
Harness their technology.
Take them to our science and tech department and see how they will inject funds into what they have in their brain to research more how to increase local refineries in the country. And that will bring down the fuel price, because the moment there is more hands in the system, the price will definitely crash, because now Dangote is the sole person that have a refinery in the country now, and he will decide the price. So more refineries to be constructed or to be built in Nigeria will solve the problem in one hand, and in another hand again, the president just returned, or is still there in China, from China. That is a foreign direct investment trip. Okay, he can bring Chinese people, or possibly allow the country to receive electric vehicles. Then they have launched a CNG vehicles arrangement of the president. If they can put these two together, I will have a good number of CNG vehicles on the road, then good number of electric vehicles on the road. I think the attention of Nigerians to oil, to petrol, will be reduced, and once that reduces, the price would naturally crash. I think that should be the way to go. Then the Nigerian student, I applaud your strategic arrangement. Go by dialogue. Don't just go to the field to say you are going to protest. Wait for government to come. Let dialogue be the best option now, and at this point. And all Nigerians want the price to crash. Government should do something to see how the burden or the effect of this price increase will be reduced on Nigerians.
Well, at this point, let's open our telephone line. Our producer is going to display the telephone number so that viewers can begin to call in. This is the auspicious time for you to begin to call by, sharing your thought with us. The number you can see is there, right there, displayed on your screen. Please, viewers, begin to call in so that you can share with us to make the program more interactive and, conversational. Let's take our first caller, just at the nick of time. Good evening. This is Matters Arising.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Go ahead. Your name and where you're calling from.
Mr. Okoli, I'm Abdulaziz Idris.
Okay, Abdulaziz Idris, our regular caller.
Yes. I wanted to make a point over what Mr. Okoro said recently, that there's a need to build, these people need to come and build a local refineries here in Nigeria.
Okay.
Don't forget, right during Jonathan's time, most of them were given licenses to build refineries. Okay. But they don't want to build the refineries. Instead, they prefer to be importing. So, you see, NNPCL is not sincere with its operations. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdulaziz. Well, you have listened to. Okay, when to react?
Well, the point here is this: whether we like it or not, no matter how we want to go around the problem we have is predicated upon our perpetual knack to continue importing fuel in this country.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's where the problem lies. So the discussion should be, how can we reduce fuel importation to, if possible, to zero level?
Okay, let's take this caller. Hello, good evening. This is Matters Arising from KAFTAN Television Live. Your name, please, and where you're calling from.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Could you raise your voice a little bit so that you can be more audible?
I'm calling from Benue State.
From Benue State, go ahead with your contribution.
This is very interesting topic.
Okay.
I really appreciate you people.
We appreciate you calling in.
Yeah. So, protest is not easy because they have been giving us good results. That's not forward.
Okay.
Thank
you. You know, Okoro, I'm imagining in Nigeria without crude. Just imagine the way we are without crude, what it would have been. God has given us this thing for free, just to dig it up, process it, and make it available.
We had not always been like this. You know, this thing began, you know, like a joke. You know, and it was like, what's the logical explanation to give that a nation that is reputed to be amongst at least the top 10 producers of this thing in the world.
We don't know our position. You don't keep saying it.
Yes, at least top 10. You understand? Now takes away its own crude that's dug up from here,
from our backyard,
and then you take it to foreign refineries to refine for you, and you return it to resell it to the people. Meanwhile, where all refineries are just there lying fallow over the years, and you are spending trillions of naira in the name of turnaround maintenance of those refineries. And you want to believe that things are okay? How can this be wrong?
Yes, you're getting vehement. Hello, good evening. This is
KAFTAN TV.
Yes, KAFTAN TV. You're on live.
I want to have a say in this matter.
Go ahead, sir. It's your show.
Nigeria, my name is from Okoro.
Okay.
We know the government know what they are doing. How can we have oil and we take our oil outside to refine and bring back to Nigeria? We know what we are doing. We know where our farm starts because the Tinubu want to do the right things. As soon as he comes to power, he will have not removed fuel subsidy until he gets things in order. So he purposely want to make Nigeria suffer. You know that Nigeria president, they are happy when they are seeing their citizens suffered. If not, how can they shout for one man for over 1 year and he close his mind, but let him know that he's a human? One day, the law will speak for Nigeria. One day in this nation, whether he like it or not, as long as he has blood in his veins, the Lord of heaven will speak for this nation because people are dying for this wrong government. Since APC come to power in 2016, things turned upside down and they are closed their eyes. One day, they will see God. Let them go ahead.
Thank you very much for your thoughts. Oriri, the dust that was raised by this pump price hike had not even yet settled. We're hearing about, you know, the introduction of value-added tax to the tune of 10%. It beats my imagination that a government that came on the mantra of renewed hope will be, you know, churning out this kind of anti-people. As far as I'm concerned, this is anti-people's.
Just okay. I want to add something. What I was just trying to say was that the Minister of Finance just a moment ago actually came out to say that VAT still remains 7.5.
7.5. Yes.
That's all I want to say.
It's all right.
Okay. He has.
Is it his responsibility to do that? The Minister of Finance. Don't we have spokesperson? That is why, you know, the challenge with this government is that different people are speaking to Nigerians at different points in time. The duty of the Minister of Finance, we all know, and is the coordinating Minister of the Economy. The Minister of Information should have been the person that should speak to Nigerians on behalf of the federal government with regards to government policies.
What is there is that
do you agree with me?
I agree with you, yes.
The present administration have these policies. Minister of Finance was hired by the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Even CBN governor, they are all his appointees.
Yes.
So they cannot do anything different from the direction of the government.
Exactly.
And to be doing things in line with the direction of government, with the manifesto of this current administration, you see it clearly. that the policy they have been rolling out for us, the Western ideology, Western policy, World Bank and IMF policy. And if you look very critically about and read deep about Washington Consensus Arrangement economic policy of World Bank and IMF, you will see that they don't want to hear anything subsidy.
They don't.
And that is what has been happening here. And they don't want to hear any government that they have relationship with that will not increase tax. And that is the policy of IMF and World Bank. And that is what they have been implementing. And that is why you will see that there will be no time. What they will be looking at is which area we have not increased tax, which area we have not increased tax. Electricity, there is tax now. Almost everything. And for the subsidy that was removed, immediately automatically increases tax naturally on everything in the country.
There's nothing wrong with tax, so long as the revenues accruing from such tax are judicially used for tangible projects that.
How will you pay this tax? How will you pay this tax? How? When majority of Nigerian population, they are unemployed. And the few who are civil servants, they are taxing them. They call it VAT from their salary, and the little that they pay as you earn, pay as you earn, personal income tax, and as they are deducting that from their little earning, the chain of responsibility to them is affected, and that is why you see now we have more number of Nigerian citizens who are out of school than the ones that are in school. If you go to the local community villages, you see that even public schools, they are no more in existence. They no longer exist. So a lot is happening from this.
What are your thoughts? This guy has been calling since. Let's have him, please. Good evening. This is Matters Arising. Your thoughts, please.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Friday from Jos.
Friday from Jos. Go ahead with your show.
Yes.
Your contribution, please.
One thing about the fuel issue and everything pertaining this fuel scarcity and everything, increase of fuel. But from my own view, what I think is like most of our leaders, even those operating in office, like they have somehow like into that business of that same fuel over thing. Definitely, that see the fuel things always change and they don't say anything constantly because they know that most of them their business inside it. Because in the first place, how can you have a refinery? The refinery is not working, and you are carrying your crude oil to another country to refine and still bring it back. And you have a refinery in your country. So we have leaders that if you have a president that knows exactly, he knows his onions, he will work on the refinery before even moving the subsidy. But because of even they knows that is capacity and that field, and they can try everything to see to mess you up even in your government. Sometimes we blame the president, we blame everything, but seriously we have some cabals that they do things that they can try to spoil your government by doing it. So if you have a president that's very wise that knows what he's doing, he will try and fix the local refineries we have in the country before doing it. That's the best solution Nigeria have.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Friday. Ori, you are on a very important line of thoughts. Could you just wrap up?
Yeah, like as I was saying, the country is being run by some leaders, just like the last caller said, that feel as if the populace, the citizens' interest is no longer their interest. And this oil issue, this petroleum matter, it should be treated like a national security issue. Yeah. And they should equally declare state of emergency in this sector, because the removal of this subsidy on fuel, petrol, has turned the country into another thing. It has increased the level of crime in the country. It has increased the level of poverty in the country. It has increased more demand for food, and the availability of the ones that there's so much food shortage in the country now, caused by this fuel subsidy that was removed. So the government have to sit itself down and section 14 subsection 2 of the constitution talk about good life for your citizens and security. giving quality life to your citizens and security is the most important thing of every government.
Let's take this caller. Good evening. This is Matters Arising live from KAFTAN Television. Please go ahead with your name and where you're calling from. Could you turn down the volume of your TV set? Help us to turn down the volume of your TV set or take some steps backwards. From Enugu State, go ahead with your contribution. Good evening. You're welcome, my brother.
We missed it. Maybe a network issue there. You know, going back again to our main discussion, which is still on the issue of the pump price. You know, over the years, there's been what I call misadministration, what I would use that word, or maladministration, you know, of the oil sector, especially the downstream sector.
Yeah.
And in the heart of this debacle has always been the National Oil Company, the NNPCL. And if you look at the way, for so many years again, the Petroleum Industry Act, then a bill, then PIB, then was, you know, undergoing legislative actions within the National Assembly, and in 2021, finally, after about 15 years or thereabout, it was now passed. Now the aim
and signed into law.
Yeah, I'm saying it was not passed. Yeah, it became an act, it became a PIA. You know, now the aim of that legislation, you know, has always been to at least deregulate the sector, to add more value, you know, to that sector, so that Nigerians, you know, can actually get the value of being an oil-producing country. And if you look at the way the NNPC was now unbundled, it's to make them more competitive and more profitable. But however, few years down the line, the NNPCL has refused to let go of the monopoly of the oil sector, especially the downstream sector. That's why today we are still talking about the NNPC being the sole importer of fuel into the country, where in a regulated area we are supposed to have every marketer, just like they are doing in diesel. We know that diesel is a deregulated piece of fuel.
Okay, let's take this caller. John. Hello, good evening. This is Matters Arising live from KAFTAN Television. Please, your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Joshua. I'm calling from the State Wari.
Okay, Joshua, go ahead, please, with your contribution from Wari.
Hello?
Go ahead with your contribution, Wari, from Wari. Let's hear your thoughts. Go ahead. Hello? Hello?
Good evening.
Good evening. Your name, please, and where you're calling from. From Benue State. Go ahead with your contribution.
I'm calling from River State.
Yeah, we from River State. Go ahead.
Okay. My contribution is this. The questions I want to ask you to ask our leader is, how long does it take Dangote to fix that refinery that is the largest? And I want to put it to you that this our leaders knows what they are doing. If the citizens like they should go on the street or they should protest, only our Senate President Amado has said we should go on the road and do protest that him and the cabinet will be sitting. But it means that these our leaders are taking us for granted. And they are taking the citizens to the wall. You can imagine a river state we are going slow 1,400, 1,500. And it took only 1 man to build the refinery for like 2 years or 3 years. And you tell us that our leaders they are leading us. And I put it to you that you see, the moment that Dangote take over this refinery is what he did in Rotterdam. What he did in his mess, Dangote's mess, will still happen to us here. He will determine the price of the goods in the market.
You know, John, you mentioned earlier. Okay, you want to go ahead?
Okay, let me just land. Then you can ask what you want to say. You know, so I said, so by the time the NNPC removes his hands from the vice-like grip that the NNPC is holding in the town, on the oil sector. Any day that they want to implement the PIA, and NNPC becomes just like any other competitor or any other practitioner entity within that sector, then the Nigerian downstream sector problem, the issue of pump price, will become a thing of the past. Today, the PIA actually moved the regulatory powers to a different agency, which is the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Regulatory Petroleum Regulatory Agency. But today, do you hear about them?
No, you don't.
Everything is all because currently NNPC is not supposed to regulate anymore. That regulatory power has been moved to a different agency. That's how they merged PPPRA. They merged there's I think equalization fund, petroleum equalization fund, PPPRA. Then the other one, what they call it, there's another one again that used to go to the filling station that time to check what I
DPR.
DPR. They all came together to form the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Agency. They are supposed to be the regulatory bodies. They're not supposed to interfere in terms of operations of this. So the marketers, IPMA and the rest of them, they're supposed to, if it's all about importing fuel, the IPMA people should be able to go and import fuel whatever they want to buy and sell at their own price. Then look at the diesel market now. Marketers are importing diesel and they're selling at their own rate. Nobody's talking about it, but why is it that it's about PMS? If you say that you have deregulated the sector, why not allow everyone to participate equally? Why must you make, okay, look at what happens when Dangote said that NNPC will become the off-taker of this product. The sole off-taker. Then NNPC now came back to say, no way, it's not going to happen. He said the only time that will make them to buy from Dangote will be when the price at the international market is, or when the price at the local market is lower than the price at the international market, which means invariably telling you that they don't want to stop importation. They want to continue importation, and that is the bane of that sector, importation of fuel. And from the way it is now, NNPC doesn't want to stop importation. They want to continue in importation as against looking inward to fix our refinery, because if the discussion is based on fixing the refineries, then the issue of pump price hike will not stand.
Okay, before Ori will say something, let's take this call. Hello, good evening. Please go ahead. Hello, we can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead with your name and country.
Yes, I'm calling from Kogi State.
Okay, your name, please.
My name is Ajibade.
Ajibade from Kogi State. Go ahead with your contribution. It's your show. Please go ahead. 30 seconds. Yes. Give us your thoughts.
Please, KAFTAN TV, you are trying your best. Everybody knows that.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Let the head of state know if he's interested in the citizenship. He will tell us how we are going to exist.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Oriri, I agree with what you mentioned earlier. The richest African, who happens to be Nigerian, and that is Dangote, is a hardcore capitalist. Yes. He is in business, he's not running a charity organization. He's in business to make profit. So perhaps that was the reason that informed his decision to announce to Nigerians that, on the day before rolling out his product, he said NNPCL is going to be, or was going to be, the sole off-taker of his product. And 2 days after, NNPCL came out to distance itself from from that comment to say no. Dangote is a businessman. He's free to sell his product to marketers, independent marketers,
willing buyer, willing seller. Willing buyer, willing seller.
Exactly, willing buyer, willing seller basis. And John alluded to the fact that NNPC could have done that because they want to continue, to import the product to sell to Nigerians by indirectly determining the price, which will remain where it is or continue to go up.
What is there is that just like my brother John have said, our leaders, they know the solution to this problem. But we have refused to ask ourselves one question. Like the last caller from Rivers, that woman that called from Rivers, she said something. We have not asked ourselves questions why Dangote was able to put this refinery to use within 3 years.
Within 3 years.
And Nigeria as a government of this country have not been able to fix just 4 refineries, even one,
just
one of Port Harcourt, to refurbish it for even for 10 years. They have not been able to do it. And in 30 years, they have spent 11.35 trillion in servicing these refineries.
And they are not functional.
Now, another question again is that from the time of President Olusegun Obasanjo, 1999, to Yar'Adua, to President Jonathan, to Buhari, now to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, all these presidents that we have been electing from 1999, each one that comes will be the Minister of NNPC.
Minister of Petroleum.
Minister of Petroleum. We have other ministries, but no president in Nigeria can choose to be Minister of Education.
Or Minister of Poverty Alleviation.
Can choose to be Minister of Agriculture. You understand? No president can choose to be Minister of Works. No president can choose to be Minister of Commerce and Industry.
Or even Minister of Special Duties.
But all of them have been Minister of Petroleum.
The question is why?
The question is why?
So let's take this caller. Perhaps he may have an answer for us. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, gentlemen.
Yeah, on to Matters Arising Live. Please go ahead, your name.
Thank you very much. I'm Suleiman. I'm calling from Kaduna.
Okay, Suleiman, go ahead with your thoughts.
Thank you very much for the good work you people are doing.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
The federal government of Nigeria is far away from solving the problem Nigerians are facing.
Mm-hmm.
They have how many refineries? 3 or 4, I don't know. Now, a private person was able to bring a refinery up. They don't want him to start selling fuel for Nigeria. They hijack it. They say when he produces fuel, they will be the one to buy from him and sell to Nigeria. So, the only thing that is on ground now is that let all of us hand over our problem to God. It's only God that can solve the problem we are facing now, and not any human being. And it's very simple. If God want to solve it, it's very, very, very simple.
Yeah.
And that man in the middle there, I recognize him. The way he speaks, God will continue to give him long life and protect him.
Thank you, sir.
Because he used to touch point anytime I'm listening to this your conversation. May God bless all of you anyway.
Amen.
Thank you
sir.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Suleiman is a regular caller, you know, remember him so well.
So they are just there fighting themselves. They don't think about the downtrodden. They are fighting themselves. It's a cartel thing. Now, Dangote have succeeded in taking over the petroleum industry. Initially, they said what is refining, they are not good
that's what.
for consumption. And he succeeded, Nigerians wedged in, and he succeeded in that line. Later, he said, okay, just to appease NNPC, he said only NNPC have the right to buy fuel from him and sell to Nigerians, because the country is a large market.
Yes, it is.
And there are some other countries within our boundary here, territorial boundary here, that depends on our oil too. So it's a large market. Who to supply to us, to sell to us, is a big market. So leaving it in the hands of Dangote alone, you have given him the sole right, because he's the only one that owns a refinery in the country now. We control the system. Giving him and adding it to him again to say you will refine and you will supply is another different thing. It means you have handed over the entire country to him. That is what have been causing the fight between them. Now, the challenge here, like he said, the 4 refineries, I have said this thing before. These 4 refineries, since NNPC is no longer a public enterprise, they will not go in to revive the 4 refineries again.
It doesn't belong to them.
It's not possible again, because they wouldn't want to go in to stress themselves to say we are reviving this NNPC to come and be competing with Dangote. The next thing they will do is to see how they will even sell off these refineries to private sectors.
There are talks.
You understand? To private sectors. But the one that will be difficult to buy by anybody is the one of Kaduna. Because before you transport crude from the south to Kaduna, is another huge expenses. NNPC cannot put pipe that will be transporting this crude from rivers or the south to the north. It will be difficult. So with the three within that southern region, they may have marketers, they may have capitalists who will have interest to buy them.
Yes.
They should bring them in and make the environment so conducive. Because what is going on in the country, Dangote, they fought him, and the foreign direct investors, the investors coming from outside, they are seeing what is happening within our environment here, and that alone is pushing them away. And the local business men and women who want to go in, they are seeing you fighting Dangote. If they should go already, Dangote is the only shark now in the ocean of the oil industry in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So the fight is still huge. It's still huge for all of us in the country. It's still huge because the cartels are fighting themselves to see who will be in charge of this petroleum industry. They are too many, and the downtrodden were the ones suffering it. So as it is presently now, like the last caller said, prayer. Nigeria, we have been the country of praying. We have been praying, but this prayer, I pray God listen to us. But the challenge, the solution is in our palm.
It's in our palm.
It's in our palm, citizens. But how to solve this problem lies in our leaders. But until we elect leaders that can serve us.
Visionary leaders. So before I come to you, let's take this caller. Good evening, please. This is Matters Arising from KAFTAN Television. Go ahead. We can hear you.
I'm Mohammed from Abuja.
Mohammed from Abuja. Go ahead, please.
My first thing is that I have to pray for you and your station. God will increase that station and new people working there.
We say amen to that.
Amen.
Thank you.
See, the problem we have in this country, we are talking about government. Well, they have their own percentage of fault. The first people we have to blame. I'm an engineer and I don't know much about Korea. Those people that are working with NNPC, they are all criminals from A to Z. They don't have mercy for Nigerian citizens. They are just collecting money for what they don't work for. You have a lot of engineers there. You have a lot of experts there. What is their input? They are just collecting money in dollars. They are just collecting salary for nothing sake. That's the about those people there. Let's now go back to the people that are millionaires. For Mr. President, former President Mr. Bahodo, they are saying they have something to open. They don't have anything to open Nigeria. He has been there before. He was there. Those people of Nigeria, what they call it, that was looking into. We are number 3 in the whole world. We take money when it comes to food between that period of this tenure. But who are we to be? The man we are having as Nigeria president now, our President Tinubu, he worked with all that gas before. Why are we having problems?
Thank you.
It means they don't have feelings for human, they don't have feelings for Nigerians. If they really want to do this, they know how to do it. Like the other man said, what we just have to do now is God to give us who will give us the best.
Exactly. Thank you.
Solutions, and we know what to do. The leaders are aware of what to do on how to solve these problems. The leaders are aware.
So let's take our last caller. Then we'll have our final thoughts.
Oh, it's all right.
Hello. Good evening. This is Matters Arising. Hello. Okay, we lost him.
All right.
We lost the caller.
Okay, so solutions. The leaders are aware of what to do. In terms of, you want to take the...
Okay, let's take the... He's calling back. Hello?
Hello.
Good evening. Go ahead, please. Where are you calling from and your name?
Yes, good evening. I'm calling from Kogi State. I'm Pastor James.
Oh, Pastor James, go ahead, please, with your contribution.
Yes. My view for this country is that we didn't have a leader in this country, but we only have a ruler.
Okay.
Because a ruler are the people who don't value and then listen to the voice of his people. But a leader are the people who listen to the cry of his people. That's what I see in this country. We don't have a leader, but we have a ruler. Okay. Our government, they refuse to listen to our voice so that they should do the needful things for us in this country. So So I'm only appealing to our government, most especially Tinubu, that if he cannot handle this Nigeria well, it's better he should resign and put somebody else here. Both of his cabinet that is here, they are only ruler, they are not leading the problem we are facing in this country.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
They should look into this country and wear a garment of a leader, not a ruler.
Okay.
Please, we are begging them.
Thank you. Thank you. They've heard you. I think we are. Yeah.
Okay. So, like as I was saying before, solutions. One, let the NNPCL take his hands totally off that sector and operate in accordance to the provisions of the law as a private entity, as a profit-making entity, as a competitor among other competitors.
Not as a regulator,
not as a regulator, but as a competitor within that sector. That's number one. And once that happens, you will find out that Nigerians who are also in that sector, who have the capabilities and abilities to actually add value to the sector, will come out. And before you know it, the pump price of fuel will start coming down, assuming that we don't even have refineries and everybody now has to import. People will import from different places.
Exactly.
And when they return, they will sell based on the market forces. You know, that's number one. Then number two, while we're also talking about that, there's a need for us to jettison this idea of fully dependent on importation. It must become the centerpiece of our discussion today around the country when it comes to the downstream sector, when it comes to the issue of pump price. We must jettison the idea of importation of fuel. We must start looking inward to fix our refineries. Like it's been suggested, even Richard has said so. If you cannot manage this, sell it off. You can even come with a PPP kind of arrangement. You know, as well as let these things operate optimally. Give more licenses. There are more Dangotes in the country who can build more refineries. Nigeria is so big for all this. But it's been no better when you have the interest of some few people who are now holding the country hostage, then that's why we are talking about this. That's why we are saying this. If not, we should have gone past this level as of today. We shouldn't buy fuel at the rate we're buying it today. There's no reason. There's no justification. There's no logic to justify that.
Okay, let's take this caller before we respond to that. Hello, good evening. This is Matters Arising. Go ahead, please.
Can you hear me, sir?
We can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead, your name and where you're calling from, and then your contribution in 30 seconds.
My name is Alexander Ishaku from Gombe.
Okay, go ahead in 30 seconds. Give us your thoughts.
I'll just go straight to the point.
Okay.
Some people have said this. Let me just re-emphasize it. Our leaders have a mode of operation that is deliberate. Are we together?
We're together.
The problem begins with our electoral process, how they came into power. They spend money to come in. They intend to regain that money back. It's business for them. And the profit they generate from government will have to go back to them, not the masses.
Thank you.
Are we together?
We're together. Go ahead.
Round up. Try to
round up.
I appreciate the fact that a lot of people come to KAFTAN and suggest possible solutions to government. I bet you they know it all, even more.
Thank you.
There's countless professors surrounding them to suggest to them and tell them what they need to know, but they won't do it because it's all about business.
Okay.
So
he's of the opinion that our leadership selection process is transactional, like John will always say, it's transactional. And when they get into office, they would want to recoup and even make more profit. They call it profit because it's transactional. John Ori, let's have our final thoughts, beginning with you. Solution. Just like my brother have said, the first number one solution to our problem here, even if we are selling, the NNPC is selling off the refineries,
first is security. Security is not just you being in your house and criminals invade your home, either assassinate or steal things from your house. The people coming in to buying these refineries to operate, would they be given that security that is needed for their investment?
Okay.
That is one. And that is what is pushing some of them off. Not that we don't have more than 200 Dangotes in the country that can go into this oil business. But the security is not there. The second aspect of it again is education. Like when Total Energy boss announced over $6 billion investment that he was shifting from Nigeria to Angola. He pointed insecurity, policy flip-flop of the country, and education. He said most people that have acquired the education in the country, that they don't depend on the certificate that we get from schools. What they depend on is the knowledge. Even if they try to train some people that they employ, they hardly pick what they are training them for. So we need to strengthen our education system. More research department. Like some of these our citizens that have refineries in the Niger Delta area that they are going to destroy, tagging it as illegal refineries. They have the technological capability. So we should harness them, put them in a place and let them come up with what they can do for the country. And if such people go in to do it, will be better. And again, our leadership selection process, we have to inwardly ask ourselves how to select leaders. And the people who question people in government for accountability, like the diagonal aspect, which is NLC, the Nigerian Labour Union, all of them should stand up for their responsibility, and we citizens as well, we should do our best to question our leaders in this aspect. It's a general problem.
John, 10 seconds.
Well, what I'm saying is that overall, because the background of everything is the government policy, the new liberal economic policy of this government has led to the point where the government has boxed itself into a corner. Because this IMF, this Bretton Woods institutions policies cannot work in a third world country where you don't have even simple social security net. It's not there, and you don't have infrastructure, so these things will not work. So the government now should start looking inward and then engender homegrown economic policies that will benefit the people. Like nothing China. More, nothing less.
Yes.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Well, it is unimaginable that Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world in spite of the endowments God has given us. Nigeria is a littoral country, rich in oil. So like I asked earlier, John, I want to imagine in Nigeria without oil, what would the country have been? This is how far we can go on our package tonight on Matters Arising. We thank our esteemed viewers and our vibrant callers for making the program interactive. Every comment by all the callers, their comments was their personal opinion that has no relationship with the editorial policy of KAFTAN Television and Management. On behalf of our producer, Ruben Okala, and the entire production team that made the program possible, especially our master control room, I remain yours truly, Macaulay Honahashi. Good night and see you next time.
I am John Okoro. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
I am Oriri Richard. Good night.
And as we say on KAFTAN TV,
imagine a beautiful world.